would be seated. Good evening, students, parents, trustees, faculty, staff, and friends, and welcome to the Pine School's Baccalaureate service for the class of 2022, our 14th graduating class. Baccalaureate is a traditional interfaith service held prior to commencement. Although Pine, as a school, is not religiously affiliated, we nonetheless uphold spiritual and character values that are ubiquitous in world religions. It is fitting that we gather here as a community to reflect and pause in a formal way as we send these soon-to-be graduates into the world. There is much to celebrate, but also a little bit to mourn, as you, a day away from being Pine School's 36th newest alumni, leave home and our school. You and your friends, along with the adults who love, care for, and have educated you, must close the chapter on one part of life, just as you were eager to run forward to the next adventure. Seniors, as we mark the end of your time as Pine School students and move toward commencement, let me start with a hope for you for the future. It is my sincere wish that you take with you from the Pine School a genuine love of learning and never let your curiosity fade away. You are a unique class with your wide-ranging interests and passions, from medicine to sports, from business to engineering, from political science to activism, from conservation and care for our environment to music and animation. It is marvelous to think about all that lies ahead for this class, the class of 2022. And as you hold onto your innate interests, as they grow and change through the years, perhaps you will think about how you can teach and learn from others and connect your passions to elevate the world around you. You are moving on from being supportive role models to your Pine School community, and now must decide how you will be role models in a new community. My hope is that those who come to know you in the future will look up to you as people who are always seeking to learn a little bit more, that they know you are lifelong learners. The professor and author Adam Grant noted in his book, Think Again, great thinkers are aware that each answer raises new questions, and the quest for knowledge is never finished. A mark of lifelong learners is recognizing that they can learn something from everyone they meet. You've learned what Pine has to teach if new people meet you and see in you a sincere curiosity and interest in learning what others have to teach you. For us, as the social creatures we are, we come together in this spiritual space, not to celebrate the academic, athletic, and artistic accomplishments you have garnered individually through your time at the Pine School, but instead to affirm our values and character, to bask in our friendships, generosity, and trust. Let this service tonight be a quiet moment to reflect on the path you have walked so far. I invite you to prepare internally for the journey you will begin after commencement. Helping us honor your class, the senior speaker for this evening is Kat Villano. Kat came to the Pine School as an 8th grader after her family moved north from Miami. An exceptional musician and fantastic student, Kat has been a contributor to our volleyball and tennis teams. This year, Kat shared the student life leadership for our upper school. Please welcome Kat Villano.
Thank you, Ms. Caffrey. I'd like to take a moment to thank the faculty, teachers, and especially family who have taken the time to support us tonight. I know you don't hear it enough, but we are eternally grateful for the effort you have put into getting us here. I'd also like to thank the rest of the class of 2022 for granting me the huge honor to speak to you. I hope my words tonight can make a fraction of the impact on you that you've all had on me during my time at the Pine School. I think there's no better place to start than in Mr. Squire's classroom. In the 3 years that I've sat at that round table, I've kept one English notebook and used it exactly twice. Once was on my first day in this class. I read the date and the period and quickly realized that this wouldn't be like most classes. I didn't write in that notebook again until the end of my junior year. I wrote one sentence that reads, "Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you." It's a Jim Carrey quote from a commencement speech that Mr. Squire showed us at this time last year. It grabbed my attention, so I wrote it down, and I haven't felt the same since hearing it. It's partly because between then and now, I've done a lot of growing up. I'm an adult now. In fact, on my 18th birthday, Mr. Hilton Green kindly informed me I can now be tried and prosecuted as an adult. So a lot has changed. But I've been doing a great deal of thinking since discovering that phrase, "Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you." I repeat it now because it resonates so much during this time in our lives. It can feel like life is just happening to you when circumstances are out of your control, or when you feel like you're stuck in a tug-of-war between the nostalgia of childhood and the excitement of adulthood. Life happens for you when you live in the moment, stay true to yourself, and do what makes you happy. That's a frame of mind that I have seen all of you embody. At any other school, a statement like that wouldn't be completely genuine. In huge high schools, I wouldn't even know each of your names, let alone your capabilities. But the great reward of having 36 graduating seniors is that I do know each and every one of you and have witnessed your unique qualities in our time together. Right in front of me, there are boar hunters, referees, car detailers, podcasters, and world-class sailors. There are future pediatricians, lawyers, engineers, animators, and manatee activists. You might feel sure of yourself right now, confident in your path, but more likely than not, you aren't certain about who you are or what you want, and that's okay. We'll find out as life continues to unfold. Your path right now might look completely different from your path in 4 years. You might change your major 5 times in your first semester. You might face huge challenges and have to learn to overcome them. In the meantime, take risks, try new things, be bold. If you're feeling especially bold, try your luck with a Flick Dining hot lunch. You can always play it safe, but you've all taught me to never go with a safe bet. You can't score the state championship winning goal, live a semester in the Bahamas, or perform at Carnegie Hall without putting yourself in a really vulnerable position. You can't reach monumental heights without putting it all on the line and making life happen for you. Grab the opportunities in front of you now because tomorrow is never a guarantee. We know all too well that the world could shut down overnight. What is a guarantee is that time will pass whether you take action or not. So why not take action now and seize the day? The passage of time can be the greatest gift of being human if you spend it enjoying the present. Living in the moment doesn't mean fulfilling the filtered, curated, picture-perfect expectations that social media has conditioned us to chase. Living in the moment can be random and messy and weird. It can look like a corn dog fight in the backfield, a game of tackle football in the pouring rain, or a deranged attempt to tip over a Greenville bus on a steep mountain road. It can be a spontaneous chorus of song in the middle of class, or a heartfelt countertop speech. We already know how to seize the day. We're veterans. We never waited for homecoming or field day to make the most of our time in high school. We've taught each other how to make extraordinary memories out of ordinary moments. Tomorrow we'll be walking the stage and graduating high school. If you take anything from what I've said tonight, I hope it's this. It doesn't matter if you're a lifer or joined somewhere along the way. And it doesn't matter if you'll be in the swamp of Gainesville or the tundra of Wisconsin this fall. Right now, we are one graduating class, the best class ever, according to JPEG. Take a deep breath and take this moment in any way you can. Appreciate the family and friends who are here with you to celebrate your accomplishments. Embrace all the nerves, the smiles, and the tears that come with graduation. Most of all, be proud. It is a huge moment that we have earned. Walk tomorrow with confidence and know that you're capable of making life happen for you. Thank you so much, class of 2022.
Thank you so much, Kat, for those thoughtful words. What a great challenge to be bold and make life happen for you. I couldn't agree more that the passage of time can be the greatest gift if you spend it enjoying the present. Now for our scripture readings, I would like to invite Whitney Critchfield and then Dylan Markulix, both members of the class of 2023, to the podium for our scripture readings.
Good evening. First, we have Proverbs chapter 4, verses 10 through 15. Hear, my son, and accept my words, that the years of your life may be many. I have taught you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in the path of uprightness. When you walk, your step will not be hampered, and if you run, you will not stumble. Keep hold of instruction. Do not let it go. Guard her, for she is your life. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evil men. Avoid it, do not go on it, turn away from it, and pass on.
Now Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16. To get wisdom is better than gold. To understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Ecclesiastic chapter 7, verse 12. For the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the life of him who has it.
For our music this evening, I'd like to invite Madeline Rustino, who will be playing Concerto No. 1, Opus 33, Allegro.
I ask that you follow along in the program, and at the end of each paragraph, respond with "We offer our thanks and praise." For the values that our school at its best imparts, love of learning and of truth, an understanding of essential unity of human knowledge and of humankind, a sense of community, self-respect and respect for others, a commitment to rationality and sanity, and an appreciation of beauty, we offer our thanks and praise. For the conversations that help us understand ourselves, that make us realize that we are not alone, that entertain and stimulate and upset us, conversations that broaden our vision and understanding in classrooms, in art rooms, in locker rooms, that force us to mature and think and grow, we offer our thanks and praise. For the images and memories of the Pine School that will stay with us for the rest of our lives, coming over the hill and seeing the campus unfold, looking out from the library windows to the field beyond, field days and games, performances and fun, we offer our thanks and praise. For the intellectual skills that the Pine School develops, the ability to think logically, to make sound judgment based on evidence, to solve problems by careful analysis and discussion, to develop abstract ideas and relate them to concrete reality, to appreciate historical and cultural context, to communicate thoughts and feelings effectively through language, music, and art, we offer our thanks and praise. For gatherings planned and spontaneous that bring us together, for long talks in which our hearts opened up and our understanding was born, for relationships with each other, ones that were long-lasting and even the ones so important at the time which are vivid no more, yet still remembered, we offer our thanks and praise. For trips on planes, on buses and cars, on foot or by canoe, that took us away from here and then brought us back. For the new places that intrigued our curiosity, and for the familiar, usual, usual places that made us comfortable, for new people, for the places we met and shared, for our school on the hills of sugar sand, we offer our thanks and praise. For the laughter that makes our seriousness less difficult, and which gives friendship new levels of joy, and makes memories of friends so full of life, and for the jokes, good and bad, told once or repeated endlessly, which make life more whimsical and often uncover wisdom, we offer our thanks and praise. For the times when children are generous by including parents in their growth and adventures, for the times when parents show their wisdom by knowing that the way to hold on to your children is by letting them go, for the experiences that bring out the hearts of children and parents and teachers closer together in the understanding and friendship, we offer our thanks and praise.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton Green. Tonight, our senior class has chosen to hear from Mr. Sean Carlson, the Pine School's academic dean. It's especially fitting that Mr. Carlson address this class tonight as he knows them very well. He's a senior advisor and traveled with this class to North Carolina for off-campus education week. He's been their academic advisor, AP World History teacher, musical theater director, Model UN sponsor, and he's been with them for countless field trips. All that's true, Mr. Carlson, but the class of 2022 wants you to know that the reason they chose you to speak tonight is that above all else, they now consider you a friend and can't wait to join you as Pine School alumni. I also understand that there are some of them very eager to have you accept their follow requests on Instagram. Mr. Carlson.
Thank you for that introduction. Before I begin, in our contracts we have a line that says other duties as assigned. So I just want to do a quick shout out to Ms. Castle for holding the instrument in place down on the ground so it wouldn't slide around here. That's definitely a new one. So good job, Ms. Castle. Family and friends of graduates, faculty and staff of the Pine School, and most importantly, the class of 2022. Good evening. To begin, I want to thank the class of 2022 for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Did I say thank? I think I actually meant to scold you and express my disdain for giving me the unenviable task to have to come up with something both meaningful and moving, but also entertaining and earnest. A mountain to climb to write a speech that wraps up your years at the Pine School, whether it's 1 year, 15 years, or somewhere in between. A speech that manages to bring laughter and evoke tears. A speech that is reflective of the past, yet offers some lessons for the future. Thanks. Thanks for that. I had the opportunity to give a similar speech on this night 5 years ago, and I felt a similar twinge of fear and nervousness. Am I worthy to be giving this speech? I mean, seriously. I'm working at the school I went to, and I live in the same town I grew up in. What meaningful life lesson can I possibly come up with? What can I share or impart or express that will leave an impact and set the right tone for the evening? In preparation for tonight, when I have expressed this fear and dread to friends and colleagues, they have responded with platitudes such as, "You can do this in your sleep. You're a natural. Just be yourself. You're older and wiser now anyway, so it'll be easy." Yeah, thanks friends. Thanks for the help. On top of that, despite a somewhat sarcastic, dour facade, I am really an emotional person. The light and love that this class has for each other and has imparted on our school community have put me in this glass case of emotions tonight, and they inevitably will get released at some point tonight, tomorrow, sometime. I've been sitting on this precipice of breaking down for the last several weeks, and you may have noticed little breaks at field day, or the athletic banquet, or even just yesterday, a slight voice crack at graduation practice as we started reading your names. I've been trying to warm myself up this week, but the final episode of This Is Us just wasn't enough to clear all those emotions. Oh, and sure, I'm given a hard time if I complain because I've spent most of my career regularly getting up in front of the most unforgiving audience ever, teenagers, and delivering somewhat improvised speeches day after day. But tonight, we have an added element to my regular unforgiving audience, parents of teenagers. However, I must remember that I have not been the first to offer you advice during this graduation season, and I definitely won't be the last. Not only will you get more advice from your peers and other speakers, but I'm also sure everybody has a person in their family who likes to offer unsolicited advice at parties and gatherings, like my Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is notorious for beginning a conversation with, "You know what you should do?" "No, Uncle Bob, what should I do?" Nevertheless, here I am, truly humbled and honored to be chosen to speak to you tonight and embrace a bit of my Uncle Bob by telling you what to do. As I begin to think about a simple kernel of an idea to share with you tonight, I struggle to find something meaningful yet simple. I've heard countless messages to graduates over the years, yet very few have stuck out in my mind. I definitely don't want to be that person. The last time I gave this speech, I mentioned my own graduation speaker who used a pair of red socks as a visual during this speech. I still have no clue what those red socks meant, but I remember the socks. As I racked my brain trying to find a simple angle, I was consistently brought back to a simple thought: firsts and lasts. In life, we are always very quick to celebrate our firsts. Your first words, your first steps, the first day of school, your first concert, your first job, your first car, your first pet, your first house, the first time you fall out of a raft at the Whitewater Center, right, Kat? Anything? Whatever. In fact, this class has a few memorable firsts. Your senior year will always be the year of Pine's first team state title. For me, your class is also the first group that I never taught in middle school. The first graduate to attend the University of Wisconsin. Heck, as far as I can tell, we're graduating the first mullet in Pine's school history of your class. Speaking of Cade, he and Jake Katz are both the first of their 4 siblings to graduate from high school. Firsts can be fun. They can fill us with a sense of adventure and adrenaline. The unknown that awaits following those firsts can teach us valuable lessons for the future. See the first time falling out of the raft reference. There are memories that we can sear into our brains forever. However, our first can also help us grow as humans. Our first car accident, our first heartbreak, our first failing grade. These experiences in our lives can build our resilience and become stronger, more capable members of society. Soon, you will be embarking on a number of first-time experiences as you head off to college and experience the unknowns that await you there, and the world will be your oyster. So, pause with me a second because I wrote that line, and then I thought, such a bizarre turn of phrase. Where did it come from? What the heck does going out into the world have to do with bivalve mollusks? And yes, Dr. Bagassi, I had to look that one up, what they are. Well, you all chose me to speak, so you're going to have to humor me on my deep dive full of fun facts. If you already know this because Mr. Squire spent a class period waxing much more poetically than I will on it, my apologies. Simple explanation has to do with the fact that you have to open a lot of oysters to find any pearls. AKA, you have to have many adventures in life, and if you are lucky, you will encounter some special experiences. However, looking into it further, it actually stems from a quote in Shakespeare's Merry Wives of Windsor, "The world's mine oyster." Within the context of the play, it is actually referring to the violence it takes to open an oyster, as Falstaff claims he will do whatever is necessary to get his money, including resorting to violence. Unpacked. Alright. Anyways, I digress. While I spoke to you about the important role that firsts play in our lives, this brings me to its opposite, lasts. Sometimes lasts are able to be expected and planned for. The last day of an amazing vacation, the last time you wore a high school uniform, the last day of school. Your class will also have some memorable lasts. The last class before our new building comes online in the fall. Mrs. Pacifico's last class of her storied career. The last of the Wilson and Highland trios to graduate from Pine. But the bittersweet part of lasts is that you don't always know when it might be the last moment until after it has happened. The last time you eat at your favorite restaurant, only to find it closed. the next time you visit. The last time you see your favorite boy band in concert before they break up. However, if New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys are any indication, One Direction will probably get back together, but you'll be in your 40s. The last time you see a friend before they move away, even though you promise you will stay in touch, but life just happens and decades go by. The last time you say goodbye to a loved one. We go through life constantly recollecting our firsts and our lasts. They become these flashbulb memories within our brains that we can recall quickly when we experience similar feelings or want to rekindle a certain time in our lives. These memories can bond us together by giving us a sense of shared experiences or be uniquely our own. However, I want you to strive to embrace and remember all those little memories that come in between. Savor the mundane. While you can surely remember your last field day, can you recall that random Tuesday when you helped your friend with their math homework? What about that time a few years ago when you stopped at a grocery store and had a brief conversation with the cashier? These are the middle, the average, the normal. However, these moments in life are the ones that can extend our impact beyond ourselves. Perhaps it was the first time that student understood that math concept, or your friendly attitude helped make that cashier's last day at work a memorable one. The middle is the moments in life to reflect and improve yourself. I can distinctly remember the first and maybe last time I went to Dubai. I remember each day and the activities and the sights and the sounds of that experience very vividly. However, I don't fully remember all of the times I have visited my family's lake house in Wisconsin, dating back to my infancy. Each previous year's visit blends with the next into this unique amalgam of feelings and thoughts. However, the experience of sitting by the lake for hours on end, embracing the mundane, is what rejuvenates me and allows me to think clearly and creatively. As Kat mentioned, you know how to make extraordinary memories out of ordinary moments. So do that. A few years ago, I completed my first 5K. Never a paragon for health and fitness. My ancestors are Irish and Swedish, so dietary staples have historically included lots of potatoes and beer. I thought it was the most challenging thing I would ever accomplish. I vividly remember every step of that course. It was a nighttime run. Run is in air quotes, as you can hardly call what I do running. And I thought I was going to be lost to the darkness forever. 3 miles felt like an eternity. However, after finishing that race, I signed up for another, lowered my time, and then another. And then I thought, 5Ks are cake. Maybe I can go further. So I signed up and completed a couple of 10Ks. I think the thing that I love most about these races is that it forces me to focus on the mundane, the middle. The start and the finish are there, but it is the middle where I'm forced to think and reflect and power through. As adults, we envy you. We envy the experiences that await you. In your lives, you have more firsts ahead of you than lasts. But as you go, don't forget to embrace the present, enjoy the mundane, and take solace in the here and now. Now, I'm sure I have rambled well past my allotted time, and Mrs. Caffrey is checking her watch to see that I hit the mark. But wrapping these things up is incredibly difficult to do. I thought about ending with a musical number, interpretive dance, or perhaps some freestyle rapping, which I know is what you expected of tonight's speech. But in keeping with the theme of firsts and lasts, I will leave you with my favorite quote, the final words of a beloved teacher, Mr. Feeney, from the last episode of Boy Meets World. Believe in yourself, dream, try, do good. I love you all. Class dismissed. Congratulations, class dismissed.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Carlson, for that entertaining and thoughtful speech. Indeed, as both you and Kat have reflected, so much of what we learn and experience is taken not from the first and last, but from the time in the middle, the ordinary moments that become extraordinary in their sum. The American philosopher and educator John Dewey said, I believe, finally, that education must be conceived as the continuing reconstruction of experience, that the process and the goal of education are one and the same thing. Seniors, even though your time in our classrooms is finished, hopefully we are still offering a few lessons with the carefully chosen words you've heard tonight and will hear tomorrow as well. As we close out our time together, I would like to thank St. Christopher's Church and Father Hines, Miss Bernadette Lindell, the organist, and those who have participated in making this evening service a special time of quiet celebration and reflection. Seniors, I wish you and your families a pleasant evening as you prepare for tomorrow's commencement ceremony. We will see the seniors in the morning at 9:30 a.m. in the dining hall for donning robes, alumni pinning, and the formal class photo. Please remember your mortar boards, tassels, honor cords, and wrinkle-free robes. Parents, please be your best, polite, and pleasant selves as you negotiate your seating tomorrow. The doors will open at 9:45 a.m. You'll see some reserved rows in front for seniors and a few other families. I ask that we let immediate family members sit closest and perhaps consider having extended family sitting a little further back. There's plenty of seating, and we welcome all your friends and family. Before Ms. Lutton-Garber gives our benediction, I will echo Kat's message that life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. I hope you are really starting to feel the adventure that awaits. The way the adults who love you are sending you from here, and with so much ahead for you to live. You are a wonderful group of students, class of 2022. You know each other so well. Who you are together is made from your unique gifts. I am so proud of you, not only for what you have done so far, but what you will accomplish from here on out. Be well, students. Have hope and make a life filled with joy. Be good to each other now and to new friends you are sure to make in the future. I look forward to continuing to celebrate you tomorrow. Now I'll ask Ms. Lutton-Garber to offer our benediction. Please bow your heads. Let me humbly suggest, in the midst of the whirlwind that is this weekend, that you take a moment to pause and let your blessings catch up with you. Take a moment to notice that family and friends, loved ones, teachers, and mentors are all here in this moment, in the same place. Take a moment to notice that you would not be here without them. Take a moment to be grateful, grateful for them and for those who cannot be with us. Grateful for the gift of education, and if you're so inclined, grateful to God, the source of life and learning. And may you go with intention and purpose to make the world a better place. May you go moving on from this place of comfort and support, knowing that you are not alone. Though the distances you go may be far, know that you carry us and each other with you, wherever you are, and may you go knowing that we will be with you when you return as well. But most of all, may you go from this place in the spirit of gratitude, knowing that you are lucky and blessed, and may you go thus hoping that you might be a blessing to those around you. And as you go, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God look upon you with favor and grant you peace. Amen. Class is really dismissed now.